Well, the Liga president Javier Tebas says that the Spanish league have filed a legal complaint to the EU Commission alleging that Manchester City have breached EU competition law. Now, Tebas said that the complaint was filed back in 2023, and he says it's linked to foreign subsidies granted by non-EU states to companies engaged in economic activities within the EU internal market. Now, quoting Javier Tebas, this is what he said. He said, "We've reported this to the European Union with facts and figures. Why? Because it's an English team that's not part of the EU, but they have commercial activities in Europe." Manchester City say Javier Tebas has a long history of attacking the club and have refused to comment. But they strongly refute the allegations and pointed to their accounts as proof of no wrongdoing, which are a matter of public record.
Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hit the like and the share button if you haven't done so already. And when I say share it, put it in your group chats. I want to get some big opinions on this. Some really, really big opinions, because this is a massive accusation from LaLiga towards Manchester City, who themselves were found guilty of breaking financial regulations by UEFA, only for CAS, the Court of Arbitration for Sport, to overturn that decision. Some of which, as we know, was down to time barring. They had disagreed with UEFA on other areas. The Premier League, as we know, are currently in a situation where the verdict on the 130 charges of financial irregularities and other breaches are all being heard. Some people think City are guilty. Some people think City are innocent. We're going to find out the verdict on that very, very soon, it feels, after a big update yesterday. We've also seen City so far win a massive case against the Premier League for the illegalities regarding the associated party transactions and sponsors related to your football clubs. City have been, from a legal standpoint, through the mire in recent years. And here, not only is another big public accusation, but another investigation that is currently being undertaken by the European Commission. There is no word yet that this will lead to any formal charges or hearings, court cases, etc., against Manchester City. But it does appear that the Liga, along with a number of other bodies, still have a massive focus on trying to prove corruption, essentially. I'm not talking corruption on a legal level outside of the sport of football, but within the sport, massive accusations that City are still behaving or have been behaving in an uncompetitive way. And I want to get your opinions on this. Do you agree with the Liga reporting them, or does this feel like a witch hunt? Does this feel as though this is the Liga, who I do feel have been jealous towards the Premier League for a long time now, the growth of our league, the income that the clubs make? You've seen a team like Manchester City dominate domestically, started to win European trophies, and there's probably a high likelihood they go on to do more and more of that in the future. Is this La Liga trying to stop it? Or do you feel there is some validity to these claims? I'd love to get your opinions on this. What is your energy going towards? Now, speaking of energy, we are today partnered again with Huel. They are an absolute powerhouse when it comes to staying healthy, invigorating your body, and of course eating as good as possible. There's a special offer at the moment on their Black Edition ready to drink meals, and this is my favorite, to be honest with you. This one right here, my favorite flavor, which is banana and strawberry. I thought I had the wrong one then in my hand. Absolutely love this. My breakfast every single morning. It's full of great nutrients, excellent, absolutely excellent for your digestive system and for your stomach. A great source of vitamins and all the nutrients that your body needs. And in terms of it being a meal, it's brilliant, because listen, we're all busy. I know you are, I know I am as well. And instead of grabbing something that's full of artificial sweeteners and junk and rubbish, this has, as I've already said, all the nutrients you need to get you through the day It helps protect against things like fatigue and tiredness, so it keeps you going. And I know a lot of you are working hard, whether you're students, whether you've got a job, whether you've got a family like me, every single day is difficult. So go and check it out now. You can scan the QR code on the screen. You can get a £10 discount off of your first order. And as you can see in these bottles, 35 grams of protein, 26 vital vitamins and minerals, and no artificial sweeteners whatsoever. You also get a free t-shirt and gifts on your first order as well. So go and check it out now. Plus, if you're a vegetarian or you're vegan, then this is a friendly product for you as well. So go and check that out. Now, let's take a little look here at some more relating to this article. This is the article that's been published, that LaLiga files complaint to the EU Commission alleging the Premier League champions have breached EU competition law. So as already stated at the beginning by Sky, the UK is no longer in the EU. So when I first read this, I thought, well, what jurisdiction does the EU now have? But because City operate in the EU, the City Group operate in the EU, they still have jurisdiction, which makes a lot of sense when you boil that down. The Liga filed a complaint on the grounds that Man City have received foreign subsidies from the United Arab Emirates, allowing the club to enhance its competitive position and cause significant distortion across various national and EU markets. He states here that all they do is think about how they can avoid the rules and regulations. We have reported this to the European Union with facts and figures. Why? Because an English team that is not part of the EU, but they have commercial activities in Europe, it's really important that all clubs are subject to transparency and rules and governance and real competition in the financial and sporting side of their business. Goes on to state here that LaLiga states that the club receive resources under non-market conditions that dispute several closely related markets, which enable the club to sign top-tier players and coaches far beyond what they would be feasible under the normal market conditions to secure sponsorship revenues at a level that are not aligned with fair market value. So similar claims to what is being placed against them in the Premier League by fans mainly, and of course the Premier League wanting ATP rules in place because they feel that these things are going on. So there is a bit of synergy in terms of the accusations here. But what my gut tells me when I first read this is very simple. If every piece of expenditure that before I give my opinion, essentially what I've read, essentially my understanding, and now if you see it differently, let me know in the comments. What's essentially being said is that City are using multiple other sort of entities, vehicles, to pay for, it might be to pay for scouting. I'm using this as an example. Like we're going to send a team of scouts out to watch a certain region of Europe. It's going to cost us £250,000. But instead of Manchester City paying for it, a subsidiary pays. Therefore, it's an expense that City don't have, as an example. And they're saying that this is being done on a regular basis. Now, if they are doing that, Manchester City, I look at this from the angle of, is that against the rules? Is there a rule that says another company can't fund your scouting? Now, there's no specifics about scouting. I'm using it as a hypothetical example before anybody in the comment section gets their knickers in a twist. Is it against the rules? And if so, is it very clearly stated? The other side, if City have done no wrong, if City can show, and again, I know their lawyers say don't show it off. I feel like they could put this all to bed really quickly, City. Open up your books. Man United have to do this because we're a publicly traded entity. But open up your books. Show everybody that every expense that you have equates to what the expenses of other clubs have. Maybe it's slightly, you spend more money because you've got more income. But there's nothing you're spending money on that nobody else is. And it isn't as though 20 other Premier League clubs or 19 other Premier League clubs and all the other European clubs are paying for 10 different factors of running a football club that don't come on your books, that are not on your ledger. Show everybody. That's how I view this. Man City claim unequivocally they are innocent. I think this can all be put to bed by opening the books. And it doesn't even need to be public for you and I to see. Just literally go and sit down with the La Liga boss, open up your books and show them. Well, what are we paying? What activities are going on at Man City that the club in itself are not paying for? It should be easy to prove. So City is saying they're innocent. I'm taking their word for it. They should be able to prove this very, very easily. The interesting part is LaLiga claiming they have evidence and they've provided this to the EU. I'm so intrigued to know what they believe this evidence to be. And the other side of this is, if the European Commission, along with the independent panel that is reviewing the 130 charges, if they all deem that Man City's behaviours and activities are absolutely within the rules of the game, and they don't break competition laws, they don't break actual laws, then I want to see my club do it. I'm not going to... If they've found a way of operating, which means they can pump more money in than other clubs felt they could, great. The rest of us should follow suit, no? If, for instance, you can have shell companies and other bodies that pay for scouting, pay for consulting, pay for intermediaries, these are hypothetical examples, then I want my club to do that if they're not against the rules and the laws of the game, because that would help us to avoid PSR problems ourselves. So if City are not breaking rules and they can prove it, even if they're using some of these vehicles, more of our clubs should do the same, no? Maybe I'm getting this completely wrong. Maybe you've got a very different opinion to me. I'd love to hear in the comment section below. Go and check out Huel. As you know, I'm all on a massive health kick for 2025. And there's always, listen, getting sleep, eating the right foods, very, very important indeed. Reducing your alcohol consumption. All these areas are important. But I know how busy life is. I know how busy life is and how difficult life can be. And picking up one of these meals once a day can help make your life just that little bit, and your body that little bit healthier. Plus, when you order it online, rather than buying these in the stores, you're saving yourself anywhere between £1 to £2 per meal. So around about £3.42 when you buy them online. For a whole meal, and that's what you get inside this, is a whole meal. Very, very worthwhile indeed. So I want to try and save you, the viewers. I know a lot of you may already be buying Huel, whether it be in supermarkets and shops. This is a way of saving yourself some money, people. So scan the QR code, get yourself 10% off your first order. Until next time, people, take care, goodbye, God bless, and I'll see you all again soon.